Hello and welcome to the workout. We are doing glutes, chest, and triceps today, you guys. You will want a handled resistance band, a circle band, and some dumbbells. And we're gonna get started. So we're gonna be working in supersets today, 2 exercises, put back to back with no rest in between. Then we'll take a short rest. Then we will repeat that superset. There'll be 5 total supersets. Your job is to use resistance levels where 12 repetitions are challenging. And more in particular, I want the last 2 repetitions of every single set to be challenging. If those last 2 reps of the 12 aren't, that's your cue to try a heavier weight load. Let's get it started. Take your feet separated and let's take a big inhale up. I want you to stretch your arms way up to the ceiling and then exhale it out. 2 more like that. When your arms come up, reach, 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 reach. Exhale it out. Do that 1 more time. Really reach high for your ceiling. Up, 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 and exhale it out. Now, I want you to breathe normally, but bring your arms up over your head and keep them here in a relaxed, just relaxed. Your arms are extended over your head, but it's very relaxed. And I want you to now actively reach up for your ceiling as much as you possibly can. Reach and hold as high and as long as you possibly can. Short breaths. Do not hold your breath. Reach, reach, stretch out as long as you can, every little centimeter, and relax it out. Catch your breath. Let's come into a spinal twist. So on that reaching exercise, which we're gonna do again in a moment, it's an incredible physical therapy exercise that helps you activate a muscle called the transverse abdominis. So it's an abdominal muscle that goes across like a band across your torso. And it's what's responsible for drawing your abdomen inward towards your spine to support the muscles of your back and your spine. So we're gonna do that 1 more time in a moment here, because it's really good to get that muscle activated and fired up before the workout so we keep your back nice and strong. Just enjoy this side to side twist and relax. Take your arms up over your head again, right up over your head, and reach, big reach. Imagine that you're lengthening yourself out as long as possible, creating as much space from your fingertips to your knees. As long as possible, breathing short little breaths so that you're not holding a breath. Reach, 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 reach. Feel that muscle through the abdomen, really draw in and grab. You should feel a little bit of muscular activity in your back and relax it out. Take your feet separated, take a look down. Make sure your feet are truly parallel to each other. Then bend your knees, push your hips back. And I want you to sit side to side, pushing your hips back. You're gonna feel a really nice active lengthening and stretch in your inner thigh, right here and here. Okay, feel that awesome stretch through your inner thigh. Push your hips back. Take a look down, make sure that your feet are truly parallel. Unless this actively bothers your knees, then you can open your toes. And if this is comfortable, let's sit a bit deeper, reaching all the way across past your foot. Now you can move faster or slower than me here in this workout, whatever is right for you, okay? Really pushing those hips back, moving faster or slower based on your energy, your fitness level, your strength journey. You move at the speed that's right for you. And let's do 2 more. Feels so good. And relax, come on up. And I'm gonna have you bring your feet together. Soften your knees so that you just lower your center of gravity, and then bring your weight over onto your right leg, okay? Find your balance here. This in and of itself might be a challenge for you just to hold your balance. Now, if this is easy for you, I want you to start to look around your space, intentionally trying to throw your balance off. When you throw your balance off and your muscles are trying to counterbalance to hold your stability, that is where all kinds of amazing goodness happens. So if you're super stable like I am, you have to really look in all around you. Move your eyeballs up, move your chin down, look all around, and you're gonna feel the muscles of that right leg, your right leg, start to grab and fire and warm up. And relax. Let's switch legs. Feet together. Bend your knees so you're lowering your center of gravity. Find your balance. When you do this with a bent leg, it really helps to get this hamstring activated so that when we're working on our balance here, the hamstring of the leg that you're standing on is having to activate, is working, is counter-stabilizing you. This is an incredible way to prepare the legs, to fire up the glute medius, to improve your balance, to get your feet and arches activated. It strengthens your ankles. It's such an incredible exercise. And in my community, I always encourage all of my women to do this every single day. Such a good exercise. The better you get at this, the better you'll be in life. And now remember, if you've got good balance, you really have to try to throw your balance off. You can always tap down to catch your balance. Everybody's different. I've been practicing this for a long time, and so my balance is pretty good, okay? But if you're really struggling, that's the whole point. And relax. Take your feet together. And I want you to take a big reach up, just like we did in the beginning. Big reach up, and then you're gonna step back all the way back into a runner's lunge, dropping your back knee to the ground. Press into your front leg, big reach up and step back, alternating each leg. So big step back, big reach, step back, big reach. The whole point here is to let the back knee gently drop down so that you get a really good hip flexor stretch of the front of that hip of the leg that's stepping back. You're also really focused on pressing into the front leg, the front heel, to really activate and fire up the glute and the hamstring on that front leg. And just really reach, reach, reach here, big reach. Getting that heart rate going, opening up the hips, firing up those legs. And let's do one more. Doesn't that feel awesome? Oh, it's my favorite. And relax, it just feels so good. Okay, let's get started into the workout. We got glutes and triceps. What else do we have? Glutes, chest, and triceps today. Glutes, chest, and triceps. So our first superset, we're actually going down onto the ground. You're going to want a set of dumbbells, moderate to heavy dumbbells, and you may or may not want a circular hip band. I'll demonstrate how you can use it. Come on down to the ground with me. Bring your dumbbells so they're nearby. With or without your circular hip band, let me show you the first two exercises. You're gonna take your fingertips down onto the ground, bring your heels in until you can feel the heels of your shoes with your middle finger. Then just lift your feet, move both feet away about 2 inches. Toes are open slightly. Bend at the elbow, and from here, we're gonna come into a glute bridge with a pause at the top so that you can really squeeze your glutes. That's your first exercise, 12 repetitions. If you know that you're good at this exercise, place a circle band around the tops of your knees. Second exercise, you've got your dumbbells, and we are gonna do a dumbbell chest press from the floor right here. Now, even though your upper arms are touching the floor, you're not releasing tension. So even though your arms touch the floor here, still keep the tension on your chest. 12 repetitions. Are you guys ready? Let's do it. So once again, if you know that your glute bridge is good, You can either add a dumbbell over your hips to make it harder, or you could add your circle hip band right above your knees here. Fingertips touch your heels, move your feet away. Elbows are bent, and here we go. 12 repetitions. Definitely pausing and squeezing at the top, right there. Pause and squeeze. That's one of the things that I'm noticing so many women are missing in their strength workouts. They forget to really hit this position where the muscle has maximal tension. And in the type of strength training I teach, most of my movement patterns are simple movement patterns with 2 phases, an up and a down, an in and an out, a down and an up, an open and a close, right? 2 phases. So you're gonna pause at that transition point where there's the most tension on the muscle. On this exercise, it happens to be in that upward position. So you pause, really squeeze your glutes, really use that time under tension, 12 repetitions. And if it's easy for you without a hip band, add yourself a circle hip band because my booty is on fire right now. Holy moly. 12 reps. And relax. Let's go right into that dumbbell chest press. Now, if you're new to my workout, please know that this is a strength-based workout. And your job is to get 12 repetitions of each exercise, where the last 2 repetitions are truly challenging. And my bet is you are a grown woman and you can probably count.
Sleep deprived.
Ollie, your screen froze on me and I can't hear you.
Same here.
Okay. I don't know if she can hear us.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like we just lost her on screen too.
As long as we got each other, we know she can come back.
Okay guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So just so you guys know, that was one of the reasons why I was gonna cancel today's workout. We are having a storm and my internet has been unbelievably problematic today. And that was one of the reasons why I was gonna cancel on you. So because we're here, you guys are just gonna have to deal with me in terms of having problematic Wi-Fi. I don't even wanna explain why it is because it's just not worth the time. Short little break, and then we've got our second set, okay? So if those first 2 sets were comfortable, that's your cue to use a heavier weight load, 12 repetitions on every single exercise, okay? Again, guys, oh boy, it's one of those days. Do you ever have those days where it's just like, there's just chaos in the world? That's one of those days today for me, but I'm so glad that we're here. I'm so glad you're here, and we're gonna keep going. So if any of your repetitions are comfortable, that's the cue that you wanna go heavier. Let's go for that second set. So if your first set of your glute bridge was comfortable, let's have you add that hip band because boy, it makes it a whole lot harder, holy moly. Okay, heels touch your fingertips, move them away from your body, open your toes a little, heels are the width of your shoulders, elbows are bent so that you can draw your shoulder blades towards each other. And let's go, giving me a pause at the top. Squeeze your glutes, pausing at the top. You do want to get a little bit of a tuck under on your pelvis if you can here in this top position. So it's not just about going super, 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 super high. Now, I don't actually have a big problem if you go a little on the high side here. The key is you really want to listen into your body. What's going on in your glute muscle here? You want to bring your hips up to the height where you really get good maximal contraction on your actual glutes with your pelvis tucked under a little bit. And for some of us, that works better with slightly higher hips. And for some of us, that works better on slightly lower hips. Nonetheless, I want you to pause at the top so that you really get that time under tension. 12 repetitions, and then we're going to go for our second set of that dumbbell chest press. Doesn't that feel awesome? Woo, when you get this right, wow, it's such an awesome exercise. It's my favorite. I love working on glutes, as you probably know, which is why I created the Glutes Project. I just think working and strengthening your glutes is one of the most important, best things that you can do for your body. Same here, give me a little bit of a pause at the bottom. So remember how I was saying every exercise that I teach, almost every exercise has two phases. So here we've got a down and we've got an up, two phases. So you want to pause at the transition point where there's maximal effort on the muscle, and that's at the bottom. So right here I'm pausing, and even though the backs of my arms are touching the floor, I'm not releasing the tension of the weight. I'm not coming down and just letting my arms hang out on the floor. I'm actually keeping tension on my chest muscles and hold for a couple of seconds there. The lighter your weights, the longer you can pause. I go over this in my book, Lift to Get Lean, if you really want to understand the science behind it. 12 repetitions, and then we're going to take a short break going into our next superset. Oh, does that feel so good? And relax. You're going to use your circular hip band for this next exercise. So if you have it on, leave it on. If you don't have it on, grab one. And if you don't have one, I'll show you what to do in a moment. Come to a crouched position before you stand up, and I want you to rock back and forth with your feet together 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Feet together, rocking back and forth, bringing pressure to your toes. If this is uncomfortable for you, that's a sign that this is a really important movement for you. So important to have that forefoot flexion through the toes and through the knuckles of your toes. And this is a great movement to keep your feet healthy. Now, from here, I want you to slowly stand up, okay? And just move around. If you don't have a circle hip band on, I want you to lift your knees 5 or 6 times. Lift your knees a few times, okay? But just make sure as soon as you stand up, you keep moving. Okay. I'm gonna demonstrate the next 2 exercises. You are gonna want your circle hip band. Grab one, put it above your knees. If you don't have one, you can do this exercise without it, no big deal. Now, I also wanna give you the heads up. I am having technology problems today because of a big storm that we're having. My internet's going in and out. You might lose me again. If I lose my internet again, just sit tight and I'll be back in a couple of minutes, okay? You can just keep up with the workout even if I lose my reception. Okay, next 2 exercises. You got your band around your knees. You can do this without a circle hip band if you don't have one. Feet together, bend your knees, push your hips back. This is your bottom position, okay? You bend your knees, you push your hips back, and you have a little bit of a neutral curvature in the arch of your back. Now you can put your hands on your legs, you can put your hands at your sides, you can put your hands on your thighs, but make sure you keep this little bit of a curvature in your lower back. From that position, big step leading with your heel, I want you to take 12 steps in one direction or 12 steps on one side. Then you're gonna take 12 steps on the other side. That's your first glute exercise. Second exercise for the chest. If you have an elevated surface like a chair, a bench, a kitchen table, something that's a little elevated, we're gonna do elevated push-ups. So from here, your hands are a little wider than your shoulders. You're gonna step back and we are doing elevated push-ups down and up, okay? Do make sure you find, I'm gonna have to put something behind my chair, but find something that's stable at any height that works for you. A kitchen chair can work, your couch can work, a coffee table, a piano bench, even your kitchen counter if that's what you need. Get your circle hip band on and let's go. Feet together, bend your knees, hips back, big step out. You got 12 steps here, 12 steps. And if you're limited in the space, you could also go 6, 6, 6, 6. But the point is I want you to do 12 steps in each direction, on each leg, whatever that looks like for you. So I've got a nice big space here, and I'm able to take actually about 15 or 20 steps in one direction. But if your space is limited, take 6 to your right, 6 to your left, and then do that again. 6 to your right, 6 to your left, so that you're getting 12 repetitions on each leg. And then we're gonna go right into that push-up, okay? So I've got an exercise bench. That's gonna be a little bit more stable. If you have an exercise bench, that's a great thing to use for push-ups. But like I said, anything else that's a slightly elevated surface can work great too. Hands are just a little bit wider than your shoulders, and you're gonna step back, feet together, and from here we've got 12 elevated push-ups. Now, if you prefer to just do your push-ups from the ground, that's okay too. I really like an elevated push-up because it just sets you up to be a little bit more successful. So it just makes the exercise a hair modified so that you can do it better. So consider, even if you like to do push-ups from the floor, like a military style push-up, really consider doing them elevated with me. 12 reps. Use your breath. Press from your chest. And this is one of those exercises that unless you are super skilled at it, it's actually not ideal to pause at the bottom. Unless you're really skilled, very strong, unless it's easy, you're gonna get in and get out of this exercise, okay? If it's easy for you, go ahead and pause at the bottom. You just wanna make sure that you're not coming too deep in your push-up so that your shoulder isn't too far below your elbow. We're gonna take a short break, and then we've got a second set of these same 2 exercises. 12 lateral steps on each leg, second set of modified elevated push-up. And if you know me, if you've been around for a while, you know I'm not a huge fan of military style push-ups in general for anyone, and I'm extra not a fan of them for women. It's a very hard movement pattern, and you really have to have a lot of foundational strength and really good mechanics to do a military style push-up safely. You might think you're doing them safely, but have a professional check your technique, because the truth is most people, the vast majority of people, do not do military style push-ups properly, and you really risk injuring your shoulder. So if you prefer to do those push-ups and you think that they're, super cool and, super advanced and impressive, I really want you to check your technique. Make sure you're safe. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with who we've had to work them through really substantial shoulder injuries from push-ups, myself included. So just make sure your push-up really has excellent technique before you're doing a full military push-up on the ground. okay? And if you don't have an elevated surface, you can also do your push-up modified from the floor. I'm a huge fan of these. You can start down, bring your heels towards your butt, and you can do your push-up from here, 12 reps. And I'm a big fan of starting at the floor, pushing away first before you come up off the floor. Pushing before you move away from the floor, but you really want to make sure that you're keeping a perfectly straight line from your knees out through your head. So keep your hips nice and straight from your knees to your shoulders. A big mistake is I see women either have their hips too high or hips too low, okay? Hips are in a perfect straight line from your knees to your shoulders. 12 reps. And if you are down on the floor, I'm gonna have you come back to that crouched position. Rock back and forth a couple times before you stand. Now listen, if you're more advanced and you want a harder workout today, you can do a third superset of each of these supersets. We're gonna be doing 2 in total, but you are welcome to do 3. When you come up, make sure you're lifting your knees or moving your legs. Go ahead and remove your circle hip band. We don't need it for the next exercise. We're moving on to goblet squats. So our next pairing, we're gonna do goblet squat with a dumbbell chest fly. So you're gonna want dumbbells again, either a light to moderate weight load. And for your chest fly, you can do it on the ground. I'm also gonna demonstrate it from an exercise bench. So if you've got an exercise bench, a piano bench, an elevated surface, it's great for dumbbell chest fly, but we can do it from the floor, okay? All right, next 2 exercises, let me demonstrate. We got a goblet squat. Hold your dumbbell or your kettlebell in contact with your chest. So you wanna make sure that you're keeping it in contact with your chest. You don't want that dumbbell out here. Right in alignment with your chest. Toes are turned open, about 30 degrees open. Keep your chest up. You're gonna sit until your hips are below your knees. Come up, squeeze your glutes. Chest stays up, squeeze your glutes. That's your goblet squat. Second exercise is a dumbbell chest fly, light to moderate dumbbells here. Make sure I'm at an angle that you can see me. Light to moderate dumbbells. You can do this on the floor. If you're on the floor, it's gonna be very similar to that last dumbbell chest press. Your arms are actually gonna come really close to the floor and your upper arms might even graze the floor, okay? But still keep tension on the chest and the arms. That's your dumbbell chest fly. Okay, let's do it. We got 2 sets of each, starting with that goblet squat. Now, goblet squat's a bigger movement pattern. You're stronger here. So it's really designed for a heavier weight load. In a perfect world, I love my female clients to be at least 15 pounds here. If you're not there yet, that's okay. But over time, I would love for you to get stronger with this exercise so that you're able to do at least 15 pounds for 12 repetitions. Chest stays up, squeeze your glutes right there. Big glute squeeze, making sure that you finish with your hips directly under your shoulders. Squeeze your glutes. Chest is up, 12 reps, okay? And then we've got that dumbbell chest fly. One of my favorite exercises right here. This is a great squat variation if you tend to have any problems or issues With any of the more traditional squats, I'm convinced a woman created goblet squats because they are really built for the female body. And it's just such a good variation of squat. Just remember to keep that dumbbell in contact with your upper chest. And chest fly. Make sure that you're pushing your shoulders down towards your hips and shoulder blades back towards each other. Scapular retraction. Bring your shoulder blades towards each other. Push your shoulders towards your hips. Keep a slight bend at the elbow, not a deep bend at your elbow, just a little, about a 15-degree bend at your elbow, and just open the arms really big, big open. Depending on your weight load, you're gonna pause at the bottom. Now my weight load's a little more substantial here, so my pause is a little shorter, but I'm definitely hitting that end position right there, very concertedly. That little bit of pause is just so good for time under tension, and that's really what builds a lot of strength. But beyond building strength, it really helps you to have better technique, which is one of the reasons why I'm just such a fan of using a pause. There's something about when you have to pause on an exercise that it really sets you up for better technique. You can't cheat when you're pausing. And so if you're having a hard time going through the 12 repetitions with the pause, that might be an indication that you need to lighten your weight load a little tiny bit, because you do want to have really great technique with that little bit of a pause, okay? All right, let's go second set, goblet squat. If your first set was comfy, grab yourself a heavier dumbbell. If you don't have a heavier dumbbell, you can always double up. I've done this before I had heavier dumbbells. You double up a couple of dumbbells and just hold them here. I crisscross them and you hold them here, trying to keep the majority of the weight in contact with your chest, okay? Chest is super tall. Toes are turned open about 30 degrees. Dropping your hips below your knees, squeezing your glutes at the top. Keeping that chest up, really important. That is one of the things about a goblet squat that I really like. Because the weight load is on the front of your body, it helps you to stay upright a bit more. There is a little bit of a lean forward at the bottom, but you really do want to keep yourself upright as much as possible at the bottom. Keeping a little bit of a neutral back, neutral curvature in your lower back, natural roundedness and arch in your lower back, but really squeezing your glutes at that top position. 12 reps. And then we're going in for our chest fly. Oh, does that feel good? So good. It opens up your hips. It gets the booty firing. So good for the hamstrings. And remember, shoulders back towards each other and shoulders down towards your hips. Shoulders back and down, shoulders back and down, shoulders back and down. I hope you go through the rest of your fitness journey with me in your head, shoulders back and down, okay? Super, super valuable cue. Because when you push your shoulders towards each other, your shoulder blades, okay, your scapulas, when you draw them towards each other, that activates certain muscles. And when you push your shoulder girdle down towards your hips, that puts the shoulder joint in a better position to be strengthened. And so these two mechanisms, scapular retraction, scapular depression, really set you up to strengthen the shoulder joint in optimal positioning and alignment. And it also ensures that you're gonna use the muscles that we're intending to use on this exercise: your pecs, your biceps, anterior deltoid, triceps. But when your shoulder girdle rises up, you end up using more of your traps, less of the rhomboids, which are lower down on the bottom of your scapula, which is a really important muscle to activate on an exercise like this. Good job. Let's go on to our next superset. Now remember, you can always do a third superset of what we just did. Going into our next superset, our fourth superset here. And we are gonna do one of my all-time favorites, a single leg deadlift, but with a resistance band. Love, love, love single leg deadlift, and it's just a whole different challenge when you do it with a handled resistance band. Grab that band if you don't have it already. The key to doing a single leg deadlift with a resistance band is that you want to really find the right distance of your handle to your foot. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your band down on the floor, and you're gonna step forward with your right foot, holding your band with your left hand. So it's opposites. Foot is on the band, opposite hand is holding the band. From here, you're gonna rotate back. Make sure you've got tension on the band at the bottom before you come up to the top of that single leg deadlift. So technically, I need a little more resistance at the bottom because I was losing my tension at the bottom of the move, okay? Squeezing the glutes at the top to finish out the move. 12 reps, 12 on the other side. And we're gonna pair this with a tricep exercise, which I love. So those of you guys that have been here before have done this with me, but you're gonna grab your handled resistance band, not on the handle, but on just the rubber part. You're gonna make a fist, you're gonna come across your shoulder, you're gonna choke up on that band, and we're doing a tricep press down with your resistance band right here. The key is to have not a lot of space between your hands. Let's do it. Single leg deadlift with your handled resistance band. Lay it out to the side, and then you're gonna step on it with just about maybe 4 inches, depending on how resistant your band is, right? Because this has to do with how tight your band is. Keep your knee soft, the leg that you're standing on, and here we go. Make sure that at the top, you really finish out your move and squeeze your glute. Now, I will tell you, a lot of people get confused on this exercise. This is actually a standing leg exercise. So it's the leg that you're standing on is what we're working, not the moving leg. A lot of people think it's about kicking that leg back. It's not. I want your mind to really be focused 100% on your front leg. Keep that knee bent. The front leg is allowing you to rotate forward, and then you really drive into the heel. So if you're mirroring me, you would be on your right leg. You're driving into that right heel to stand you back up, to stand you up, okay? 12 reps, and then we're gonna go to that other side. Another one of my, like today is all about all my favorite exercises. You guys are getting all my favorites. Switch sides. Take a moment to really set yourself up here. This is one of those exercises that like, you really do have to have it set up so well. Otherwise you will lose your balance. Even if you don't have it set up, chances are you're gonna lose your balance at some point because it is a single leg exercise with rotation involved. So when it comes to balance, this is definitely a challenging exercise. But just know that if you struggle with balance, welcome to the club. That's normal. But it really does help to keep a little bit of bend in that front leg. It's actually essential and super important to keep a bend in this front leg. When you keep that bend in the front leg, you're gonna end up using more of the hamstring on this leg that we're focused on. Hamstring and glute. You're gonna feel a lot of the effort on the back of the thigh and into the glute. It is definitely a hamstring exercise, but hamstrings involved. Your primary muscle that we're focused on here is the glute with hamstring as a secondary, what we call accessory muscle. Tricep. Grab your band, come across your shoulder, make a T, choke up on that band, press straight down, 12 repetitions here. Just like that. Part of this exercise is making sure that your upper hand is really pressing into your torso. Okay? This hand is really pushing into the top of my chest to anchor the band. And you're also right on top of my microphone, so if you're getting some muffling or some microphone feedback, that's the way it goes. This is a real workout, and I got a real microphone on. 12 on this side, and then you're literally just gonna switch sides. You don't even have to change your hand position. Change the band position in your hand. You just literally switch sides, okay? Straight down. Elbow comes up to about 90 degrees. So right here, I still have tension on my tricep when my elbow is at about 90 degrees, right there, okay? And again, like I said, this exercise is really dependent on this hand strongly pushing into your chest so that you've got a strong anchor. But once you get it, it's a great variation for a tricep press down. I love it. 12 reps, and then we're gonna go back to that single leg deadlift. And relax. Now, if your single leg deadlift was easy, grab yourself a more resistive band or choke up on the band so that there's even less space between the foot and your handle, okay? So I only have maybe 5 inches here, maybe 6 inches between my foot and my handle. That's based on the resistance of my band. Your band might be different. So if you have a harder or heavier band, you're probably gonna have more space between the foot and the handle. I want you to put all your mental focus into your front leg. Even though that back leg is moving, just really focus on the front leg, keeping the knee bent, using the strength and the function of this front leg to bring you into this forward rotated position here, okay? Hip is reaching back. It is a bit of a hip hinge at the start of the motion right there, okay? And with a resistance band, the harder it is, it really makes this exercise super challenging. So just know if you're choked up on that band, it's gonna be hard work, especially here at the top, squeezing through the glute and getting your hip under you, okay? 12 reps, same on the other side. Again, so those of you that know me or have been here before, almost all of my exercises come from physical therapy. So a lot of your most important exercises that you do actually strengthen the key movement patterns in the body. And so this exercise, actually, I was first introduced to 25 years ago, probably, when I pulled a hamstring muscle. I was overstretching. I tore a hamstring muscle. I got to work with an incredible physical therapist, and we started working on this exercise. And so I learned it then, and through having gone through physical therapy, I was like, well, don't wait till you're injured to use these exercises. Let's use it to prevent injury. This is one of the best exercises you can do if you're a runner or a cyclist, even if you like to walk or hike. Such a good exercise because it strengthens the mechanics of each leg independently of the other leg. It's what we call an asymmetrical exercise. Really drive that heel in. Use your breath, 12 reps. I also love how this improves the flexibility of the hamstring. Great. 12 reps, triceps. Here we go. Choke up on your band, make a fist, push it right into your chest, about 4 to 6 inches, so that that elbow's at about 90 degrees. Press it straight down. You can pause at the bottom, depending on how much resistance you have here. Pause and really press straight down, maximizing that contraction of the triceps at the bottom. Shoulder back down. 12 reps. If it's easy, choke up on your band, make it shorter. Pausing at the bottom because that's where the most tension is, right? So when your band is stretched, that's where maximal tension is. So that means on this exercise, it's at the bottom. Triceps are tricky because you could actually pause in either position with tricep exercises. But on this one, you want to pause at the bottom because you've got maximal resistance from the band, right? So resistance bands are what are called a variable resistance because it's got different resistance when the band is not as stretched, and then it's got more resistance when the band is stretched. So at the bottom, you're getting more resistance here, right? Common sense. So that means at the bottom, that is where your triceps are getting all of the work. 12 reps. And relax. And we got one more glute exercise, one more tricep exercise. So we're gonna go back to that circle hip band for our next glute exercise. Grab your circle hip band, placing it exactly where it was before, just above your knee. Now, if your hip band is easier, you're gonna move it lower down your leg. If your resistance band is tighter, mine is super tight, you can move it a hair up your leg. The good intermediate position, the kind of default position, is right above your knees, okay? And then if you want this exercise to be harder, move it below your knees. You might want something to stabilize you for balance and to leverage yourself against, but we're doing a glute kickback. Feet together, bend the knees, use something for leverage if you need to. We're gonna kick back, slightly bent knee, but squeeze and pause and relax. And you've got 12 reps on each leg, okay? Tricep exercise, we're gonna use that elevated surface, a chair, a dining room chair, a couch, a piano bench, whatever you have, and we're gonna do a tricep dip. From here, on your seated position, hands are gonna go right under your hips, okay? So that your hands are directly below your shoulders. Feet come out, they're together. Hips come off the bench, knees are bent, and you're gonna sit straight down and then press straight up. So it's important that you're going down and up, not out and up, okay? Not out and back, down and up. When we get to the exercise, I'll turn my bench so that you can see me from the side. But let's do, actually, let me do that now. Now I'm gonna leave it down. Let's do our glute kickback first. So with your resistance band, feet together, knees bent, leverage yourself if you have to, kick back, squeeze that glute, and relax. Squeeze and relax. Now, the value of using something for balance here is literally that you can leverage yourself. So it gives you just a bit of stability so that you can get a bigger, better contraction or use a harder band, okay? You wanna get as much space here in this movement without there being too much change in the angle at the lower back, okay? This is all glute. 12 reps. There's more, a true side for you. Keeping that moving leg bent. Opposite to that single leg deadlift, this exercise is about the leg that's moving now. It's not about the leg that you're standing on. The focus of this exercise is definitely more this moving leg and that glute. 12 reps, same thing on the other side. Knees bent, feet together. Lock off your abs just like we did in the beginning so that your lower back keeps its angle. You don't want to be changing the angle at your lower back at all, okay? A big mistake I see on this exercise is people just move their torso or they change what's going on at the lower back. You really want to keep all of that locked off so that it's just your leg moving. Nothing else is moving. Keeping and maintaining abs drawn in so that that lower back maintains its neutral arch. Reps. And then we're going to go into that tricep dip from a chair, the seat of your couch, piano bench, step a stool, whatever you have that elevated works. And I will show you from the side. That's not going to be from the side. The side for you would be this way. There we go. Okay, so from here, bit. You're gonna put your hands right under your hips. Chest is up, feet together. Bring your hips off the bench so your knees are bent. And then you're gonna go straight down and straight up. At the top, really lift super high here. Lift up your chest super high right there. It's very common to kind of sink into your shoulders. Make sure you're pushing up out of your shoulders, but you still want your tailbone to stay pretty close to the bench so that, like I said, you're going straight down and straight up, lifting the chest, straight down, straight up. 12 reps. If 12 are easy for you, you can either increase your range of motion lower and higher, or you could put a small dumbbell across your hips. Whatever feels better for your body. I really like to focus on technique on this exercise, and I find that when I'm really focusing on technique, I don't have to go heavier. If you're doing 12 reps and your technique is awesome and you're way at the top and comfortably at the bottom, you can increase your repetitions here on that exercise for 15, okay? Second set, glute kick back. Assess how your first set was. How did those 12 feel? Was it comfortable? If it was comfortable, let's increase the range of motion, elongate the pause, or grab a heavier resistance band. 3 ways you can make this exercise harder, okay? Number 1 is to increase the distance, really moving that leg back. Get more of a range of motion here on that back leg is the first way to make this a little bit harder. Second way is to elongate your pause right there so that you're really having to make that glute squeeze and activate there, big time. Such a great glute exercise. And then last would be to have a heavier resistance band. Nice long pause, squeeze those glutes. Called hip extension. And while your glute is the primary mover on hip extension, you do get some hamstring involvement as well, which is a reason why I love this exercise, because the glutes and the hamstrings work together and they really do have to be strengthened together as well. In my experience, 30 years now coaching women, 90%, maybe even more of the women that I work with have weak glutes and hamstrings. Almost every single client I've ever worked with. Maybe even every single client I've ever worked with, honestly. It's just inherent to human nature. If you're not working on the strength of your glutes in a dedicated manner every single week, you have weak glutes. You have to be conscientiously fighting for glute strength every single week. Otherwise, you're going to be weak. That's not necessarily a pun, but whatever that would be, weak and weak, right? So it's critical that you're actually really trying to improve glute strength and function every single week to keep the pelvis aligned, to keep you safe, to avoid injury, to reduce aches and pains, to improve knee health. It looks good. It helps to keep you hormonally and metabolically strong. Glutes are the most important muscle group in the entire body, hands down, without question. And they are also intended to be the largest muscle group of your entire body. But in my experience, that's rarely the case. Here we go, last set. Nice and high here, okay? Remember what I was talking about. If you wanna make this harder, really get your height up and your low very safe. So you only wanna go about as low as your shoulders are healthy. I happen to have super healthy shoulders because of all of my physical therapy when I injured a shoulder. So my shoulders are actually better than ever, and I'm able to go to a nice deep depth here. But depending on what your shoulders are like and how healthy your shoulders are and how strong your triceps are, you might not be able to go quite as low, and that's okay. 12 reps here. Oh, they're so good. That's just such a good exercise for everybody to be doing. Okay, go ahead and take that circle hip band off, or if you want to do a third set of those two exercises, go for it. I'm going to take you through a couple of stretches just to quote unquote cool you down after the workout. And let's take a big inhale up, big inhale up. Exhale it out. I'm going to take you through stretch for the quadriceps, super important. Stretch for the triceps and the chest, just to get you a bit neutralized for the rest of your day. Big inhale and exhale it out. Let's go for the most important stretch of them all. Probably, I would argue, most important stretch you can do, quadriceps. There's different ways you can stretch your quadriceps, okay? This is a great one. Feet together, use something for balance, bring your heel back up to your butt, catch your shoelaces. If you have to use your pant leg or a belt around your foot, that's fine too. Then I want you to tuck your pelvis under. That's gonna kick your knee forward. Keep your pelvis tucked under, but pull the knee back. So with your pelvis tucked pelvis, then draw your knee back, look down at your legs, and your bent knee should be next to or behind your standing knee, okay? Because of the camera, mine might not look like it, but there you go. That's a true lateral, okay? So tuck your pelvis like crazy and check that bent knee position. That is a great quad stretch. And everyone should be doing it every single day. Okay? If you do it right, you're gonna feel your glute and your hamstring grab. That's part of the value of this stretch. The more the glute and the hamstring grab, the more the quadricep is gonna release and relax. Same on the other side, okay? Tuck the pelvis first, draw the knee back, tuck that pelvis, tuck it, tuck it, tuck it, tuck it, tuck it. For me, I end up getting so much hamstring and glute action on this side that it almost cramps up. But the more I do that, the healthier my quadriceps get. And by the way, why is quadricep flexibility important in all? Because your quadriceps are largely responsible for what's going on with your knee joint, okay? So really tuck that pelvis, pull that knee back. Now that we're in more of a stretching phase, you wanna hold for maybe 20 to 30 seconds. And then every single day, perform this stretch a couple times on each leg, okay? One arm comes up, tap yourself on the shoulder. Other arm comes around to add to that stretch. So use your top hand to close off the angle of the elbow, getting a tricep stretch. I'm seeing some messages coming in. Okay, great. Just want to make sure my technology is good. You are so welcome, Leila. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be done in just a minute here, stretching out the triceps, and then we're going to stretch out chest. If you're watching this in playback or on recording, please say hello below in the comments. If you'd like to join us for one of these live workouts, I've got a group of women here with me off camera live. If you want to join us, come on over to hollyperkins.com/ free workout, and you can sign up to join us live for one of these workouts. Stretch your triceps. Bring that deep bend at the elbow. Oh, it feels so good. That feel great? Oh, it's so good. And then relax. Take a big inhale up, interlock your fingers at the top, bring your hands behind your head, press your elbows back, let your chest move forward, lift your chin. Squeeze your shoulder blades back towards each other. Ooh, isn't that good? Really pull those shoulder blades towards each other while you push your chest forward and you press your elbows back. And relax it out. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Holly Perkins, and I will see you next time.